Since the departure of Sergio Busquets, Barcelona have been lacking something in midfield. Their structure has been all off. Their midfield has just not been the engine that it's supposed to be. They might need a new midfielder, a pivot, to come in and turn this into a functioning midfield again. Joshua Kimmich has been linked with Barcelona a lot in these last years. He has always said that Xavi himself was his big idol. He hasn't always been happy at Bayern Munich as of late, and his contract expires in 2025. Could Joshua Kimmich be the perfect addition to this Barcelona team? And how would he even fit into this midfield? Well, that's what we'll discuss in this video, so make sure to stay tuned. What kind of player is Joshua Kimmich? Well, he's primarily a defensive midfielder, known for being all-round. Passing, press resistance, positioning, ball recoveries, he can do it all. He's got the qualities that you want a single pivot to have. At Bayern Munich though, he has always played in more of a double pivot, as the deep creator next to players like Arturo Vidal or Leon Goretzka, who are more physical and will make runs forwards. Joshua Kimmich has never really played in the same kind of role as Sergio Busquets, and if Barcelona would sign him, most people would probably consider him as a Busquets replacement. So the real question is, could he play well in the Busquets role? If we look at the stats from last season in the Bundesliga and La Liga, Busquets had 74.8 touches, 0.8 key passes, 0.9 interceptions and 1.9 tackles per game, while Kimmich had 96.6 touches, 2.7 key passes, 1.2 interceptions and 2.4 tackles per game. Purely by looking at the stats, you would think that Joshua Kimmich could thrive as a Barcelona single pivot. There is also no current Barcelona midfielder who really has the same package of qualities as Kimmich. Pedri is more of an attacking midfielder and isn't defensively as solid, the same goes for Fermin Lopez. Gundogan is also all-round, but he has looked lost when playing as a single pivot for Barcelona this season, like in the game against Alaves for example. Gavi isn't as good as Kimmich at distributing the play from deep in midfield, and Frenkie de Jong won't stick to his position as a single pivot, and will leave too much room for the opponent to exploit. Apart from Oriol Romeu, Barcelona currently simply don't have a proper single pivot. But would you want to play with Oriol Romeu in defensive midfield in the big games? The big question is whether Joshua Kimmich would be able to play as a single pivot, as the Busquets role is different than what he's always been used to at Bayern Munich. His profile and the stats suggest that he would be a suitable option in that role. And also, I would personally only sign Kimmich if we would really consider him as the defensive midfielder to replace Busquets with. Why? Well, if you want to play him in a double pivot, or if you want to play him as a center midfielder, you're not really adding anything new to Barcelona's midfield. If you want to play with a double pivot, then Barcelona might already have the perfect set of ingredients for it. A defensively solid and press-resistant midfielder like Gavi, combined with a roaming deep creator like Frenkie de Jong, that might be the perfect double pivot. It is only because of Frenkie de Jong's injury that we've not been able to see that idea come to life yet. But what about injuries? What about squad depth? Wouldn't Kimmich be perfect in a Frenkie de Jong role? Well, benching either de Jong or Kimmich in most of your games is a pure crime. We're not going to go there. Kimmich would fit well into the Gavi role as well, but Gavi has proven that he is at his best when he plays deep in midfield. And again, we're not going to bench either Gavi or Kimmich. By the way, don't forget, this is Barcelona. That means we have something called La Masia. There are numerous big talents who ideally play as the controlling midfielder like Marc Asado. Furthermore, Kimmich has often been coupled with a physical box-to-box midfielder, like Goretzka at Bayern Munich. Barcelona don't really have the equivalent of Leon Goretzka. If you want to play with a double pivot, I think Barcelona already have enough world-class players who fit in there perfectly. Kimmich has also played as a right-back for Bayern Munich. Wouldn't he be an interesting option as a right-back for Barcelona? Well, he would definitely be, but is the right-back spot his best position? His distribution qualities, don't they come more to fruition when he's playing as a midfielder? And you might be skeptical of João Cancelo, but isn't he a better right-back than Kimmich? Kimmich might be a good option for the right-back spot, I just doubt whether Joan Laporta would sign him in order to be the right-back. Joshua Kimmich would definitely be an interesting player to have for Barcelona. As a single pivot in the Busquets role, he could be part of a midfield three of Kimmich, Frenkie de Jong and Gavi. Where would Pedri play? Well, he could play as more of a 10, resulting in a midfield diamond like Real Madrid have been having this season, or as an inverted winger. Or Gavi could play as the inverted winger like he did last season, although he is better when he plays in a deeper role. As you see, it would be hard for Xavi to pick a lineup if Kimmich would join Barcelona, just because of the sheer amount of world-class midfielders at his disposal. Honestly, if you ask me, and this is a hot take, Barcelona already have a world-class set of midfielders and might not need anyone else. A Frenkie de Jong, Gavi, Pedri midfield, with de Jong and Gavi playing as the double pivots and Pedri as the attacking midfielder, could work really well and would be sustainable over the coming decade. Mind you, we've never actually seen Xavi try this, and when Xavi played with a double pivot of Gavi and Gundogan against Real Madrid, they dominated the midfield against what is arguably one of the best midfields in the world. Barcelona might not need to flat out replace Sergio Busquets, and they could maybe just slightly modify their system. But I know that is a hot take and that not having a world-class single pivot does bring its problems. So let me know what you think of the possibility of having Kimmich in this team and whether Barcelona really need him. That was it for today's video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and feel free to share your own opinion in the comments down below. Força Barça, Força Kimmich, and have a good day.